Peace Corps is a life-defining leadership experience. Volunteers live, learn, and work with a community overseas for 27 months, providing grassroots assistance in 6 program areas.
I am one of more than 200,000 returned Peace Corps volunteers who has answered the call to serve. And it's an incredible feeling to be part of this vibrant program.
Since 1961, Peace Corps volunteers have improved the lives of millions of people around the world. Their work represents a legacy of public service that has remained true to Peace Corps' mission spanning over 5 decades. Peace Corps promotes world peace and friendship by providing trained volunteers to countries that request assistance, promoting a better understanding of Americans, and sharing a global perspective here at home. Peace Corps places volunteers with the community where their skills and experience are most needed, based on host country requests for assistance.
Peace Corps service begins with training in the country in which volunteers are invited to serve. Volunteers study together and receive intensive training in the local language. They also receive technical training related to their job assignments and learn more about the country through cross-cultural training.
The training here was pretty intense. In language classes 4 or 5 hours a day. And we were living in villages during the training, so the training never really ends.
Peace Corps training did help a lot. And then being here at school, watching other teachers teach and have those teachers watch me teach and give me pointers, what to do, what not to do, those things helped.
Shafiq is mainly helping us with teaching. He's also helping our staff teachers with the computer because most of us do not know how to use a computer.
Pre-service training, or before you get to site, is about a 3-month-long process, and you go through a lot of language training in the local language. You also go through safety and security training, medical training, things to look out for on both of those fronts.
With training, they teach you a lot of things, but nothing is like when you go out there and you first get in your community. That's really when, what they say, the rubber meets the road.
Volunteers are assigned to work in a community in one of 6 program areas: education, youth and community development, health, agriculture, environment, and business and information and communications technology.
I work in the primary school here. I teach grades 1 and 2. My main objectives are literacy and numeracy.
Well, the bakery program was first started as a workshop. With the baking project, the kids participate by making the dough. They make the dough, then they make the bread, and they participate from start to finish. Like a lot of these children, they're from some of the poorest areas in Ecuador. They don't really know about sharing or working in teams. So that was something that I try to implement in their daily lives.
I am a health volunteer assigned to a health center. My job is education. I primarily have worked with people living with AIDS support groups.
I'm working with a non-governmental organization. We are trying to create sustainable projects and implement them in our community.
I'm working with coffee farmers. We're talking about how to market our coffee and how we can maximize our profits from the crops that we have.
So the goal of this fish project is to ensure better food security and a better source of protein through fish.
I do urban agricultural work. I work at the Hospital Fan, and we have a huge garden that we use to feed the patients that are in the infectious diseases ward.
Education is the largest area of need, and that specifically with English as such a growing language. It's a field constantly looking for people, so regardless of what you are doing in the Peace Corps, it always comes back to education.
I love the work that I do outside of my primary placement. The secondary projects, I love them. We started playing basketball, and I saw that a lot of kids had an interest. It's great. It's the students who might not listen so much in class always listen in the gym playing basketball, and that's translated into a better rapport in the classroom.
Peace Corps is special because volunteers get to work firsthand with community members. We build personal relationships. We are in the homes, we are in the community centers, we are in the organizations. We are just amongst the people, making decisions with them, interacting with them on a daily basis.
The health and safety of volunteers serving overseas is the Peace Corps' highest priority. Volunteers receive the training, support, and information they need to stay healthy and safe. Volunteers have access to medical care and trained medical professionals.
One thing that was important to me was hearing the policies of Peace Corps about safety. They also did an extensive training about how to get around town. areas we can go into and areas that we shouldn't go into.
It's nice to have a medical officer come in and tell us, like, hey, this is what it's like here. These are some precautions to have, and it's nice to also have them on call 24/7.
I feel very safe in my community. Peace Corps was very good at preparing young women for the attention they were going to receive. The rules that Peace Corps has in place, I understand, are put for a reason, that my safety and security is very important to Peace Corps.
Most volunteers are able to stay in touch with friends, family, and fellow volunteers by phone, text message, internet, or mail. More than 90% of volunteers have a cell phone. Access to communication can vary greatly from site to site. However, in all cases, Peace Corps has systems in place to contact volunteers if there's an emergency in country or at home.
I don't have internet nor electricity where I live, so I have to leave to do that. And it's quite easy for me to get out because there's a road and a good bus system. So I could leave my community in the morning, I could go run errands in town, check the internet, and I could be back up into my community that afternoon.
There's no one typical Peace Corps location or experience. Accommodations vary greatly from a rural hut to an urban apartment. In all cases, housing must meet Peace Corps standards for safety and suitability. Volunteers receive an allowance that covers the cost of housing and other necessities.
A lot of the houses are made of wood. They have thatched roofs made of a plant found in the rainforest called Truly. There's no power, no running water. I have to bathe in the creek every morning.
My apartment is nothing like I expected a Peace Corps living situation to be. I live in a post-Soviet block-style apartment. I have 2 rooms and have most of the amenities that I had in America.
Welcome to Detabane. I'm a Peace Corps volunteer. This would be my kitchen area right here. I study here, read here.
To be eligible to serve in Peace Corps, you must be at least 18 years old and a U.S. citizen. Here are a few of the qualities that make for a successful volunteer.
So a successful volunteer is somebody who adapts quickly to their environment, but who also pays attention, because it's not what you want for your community, it's what your community wants for themselves, and it's up to you to really kind of work towards that.
The best volunteer is the flexible volunteer. Being open and interested and having a passion to learn more. It's understanding that sometimes their tradition is going to throw you for a complete loop, but being able to grasp that and have fun with it and make it part of who you are while still staying an American is really going to make you the best possible volunteer.
You're coming into a place where you're going to have a lot of new experiences. It's very different from home, so you need to be willing to try new things, try new foods, talk to people who may be very different from yourself. If you go into it willing to do that and really just open your heart and open your mind, it's going to be a much better experience.
Understanding is the key to peace, I believe. Just taking that time out to understand who a person is or what that person was or what that person wants to become. And once you make that exchange, you're building personal relationships. That's how you begin to foster peace, is by understanding.
One of the things about Peace Corps is I get paid basically the same as any of the teachers here. It's humbling in some ways because you see other people working with the same amount of money, oftentimes with more burdens than you have, and they can make it work. It's part of the experience, really.
Many volunteers say they got much more out of their experience than they gave. Some of the tangible benefits of Peace Corps service include language and technical training, a monthly stipend to cover housing and living expenses, full dental and medical care, and vacation time. Plus, travel to and from your country of service is paid for.
Additionally, deferment or partial cancellation is possible for some student loans. After completing service, volunteers receive approximately $7,400 in transition funds. Returned volunteers have access to job placement services and a career center.
If you're considering graduate school and Peace Corps service, you can do both together through the Masters International program. Or complete Peace Corps service, then use the lifetime eligibility for graduate degree benefits, like reduced tuition, assistantships, and stipends, all available through the Paul D. Coverdell Fellows Program.
For Masters International, I applied to my grad school, then I started the application process for Peace Corps. I needed to give back to the world, to the country I grew up in, to the community that I call home, and just to the world in general. And Peace Corps was one way to do that on a global scale.
Being a Peace Corps volunteer is definitely a significant life accomplishment, and I'm so glad that I did it. I always liked public health, and then being able to go to Guyana and working at the Ministry of Health was so amazing. It just really solidified what I wanted to do.
My Peace Corps experience really helped enhance my interest in agriculture and led me towards position vacancies at U.S. Department of Agriculture. I used the non-competitive eligibility benefit when I applied for my federal position. I mean, you can bring that worldview perspective to your job. I feel like it helps make me more effective at what I do because I've got a broader perspective than most, and I owe that to Peace Corps.
Peace Corps volunteers are a valuable resource for IRD because they bring to our organization shared values. They have cultural sensitivities. They have worked in developing countries, and they have language skills which are useful to us. Former Peace Corps volunteers are the single best resource in terms of talent for IRD.
The Peace Corps offers a unique experience to make a difference around the world and bring the benefits of that experience back home. The personal and professional rewards of Peace Corps service last a lifetime.
It's been an incredible experience. Being able to realize that, yes, I can completely integrate into a new culture.
I want to give back to my community, I want to experience a different culture, and I want to see if I had what it takes to make it somewhere different and be appreciative of what we have in the United States.
I would not trade my experience here for anything. It is everything that I wanted it to be and hoped it would be.
So after the 2 years of serving the Peace Corps, I feel like I have brought something to the table. But looking back and seeing what I have given, I can honestly say that I've received 10 times as much back.
Live, learn, and work with a community overseas. Be a volunteer. Take the next step and explore how the Peace Corps can fit into your future. Speak with your local recruiter or visit peacecorps.gov.